And once they've grown about 12, 18 inches tall, you could spray them with herbicide or wait again until next fall and spraying with herbicides then. But yeah, this is probably, especially if you're trying to do any kind of a fall crop, if you have blueberries that go into September, you'll want to control the pokeweed in particular. So, porcelain berry, yeah, I'm not sure how much of an issue that's going to be. So what else can we do? So at the end of the season, you should not be, don't be spraying insecticides thinking that you're going to help for later in the season. They're just going to be elsewhere building up in numbers, so there's really nothing that you want to, you don't want to spray when you're all done harvesting. You do want to remove your nets, let the birds come in there at that time and get the rest of the berries. That's fine, they're just going to be helping get rid of a few Spiderwing Drosophila. So mass trapping, you know, last year, probably some of you guys did this also, at the beginning of the season, put out buckets with apple cider vinegar to try and catch some. You know, I don't think it helps in March. Could it help this time of year? You know, perhaps, but there's so many out there, it's hard to imagine, but yeah, I'm not sure. So, reducing humidity within your own planting. I'm thinking that our blueberry plants, our plantings might need to look a little bit different than I know at least some in Rhode Island look like, which can be kind of overgrown. And so, this is our East Farm orchard. Excuse me, this isn't an orchard, this is a blueberry patch. But our blueberry patch at URI, we put down all this sawdust, which creates its own problems, but it's very hot, it's very dry. We did not have a Spiderwing Drosophila problem here. We also got lots of people coming in to pick, so it's hard to say what's happening. We certainly caught a whole lot of Spiderwing Drosophila, but this is a hot, dry patch, most of it, and I just wonder, you know, is that keeping our numbers down lower? Yeah. So this was a blueberry grower, which I had always wondered, can you just prune blueberries down to the ground and will they live? And they certainly will do very well. And so some of those bushes that have gotten up to be, you know, monsters on your blueberry patch, this is probably a good idea. So this one grower had done this about 3 years ago, and he's got gorgeous little bushes now. So in about 3 or 4 years. So I think we might need to have a little bit more space between our bushes just to bring the humidity down. I think that's going to help control Spiderwing Drosophila. So, yeah, so you want to be trapping, and if you're going to be spraying, you want to start spraying, you know, once you have the flies, and once the fruit starts to turn color, which happens pretty darn early. And then probably weekly sprayings of Delegate and maybe pyrethroids. Adding sugar to the sprays is, I think, really going to be helpful. Allowing wildlife to eat the fruit, and then eliminating hosts, especially the ones that are right when you're trying to crop, or right before you're trying to get your crop in. Okay. Yes?
Can you add sugar and oxidate in the same spray?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem. Pretty sure that Norse was doing that. I would need to check, but yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. It's just sort of, yeah, there's most things you can mix together in a tank, and usually it'll tell you on the label what you can't mix together, but most things you can mix.
We have a lot of berries. We had a real bad infestation of these bugs, and certain areas we got a lot of berries on the ground now. If we cover them with sawdust, will that help any?
Well, I think the insects are long gone out of those berries, and so I don't think for Spiderwing Drosophila it's going to make any difference. They overwinter as adults, and so they've emerged out of those berries and have gone elsewhere, probably to make millions of more Spiderwing Drosophila.
So they don't stay in a one area, like the ones that hatch on your property just can be a mate, like they just
right.
take off and go with the wind.
They disperse, they get attracted to yours, yeah. Your fruit fly is my fruit fly, I think we're sharing them all.
So the birds help.
Well, the birds can help, yeah, I mean, there we go. I heard people had really bad bird problems this year. I heard that with grape growers and blueberry growers. So I'll mention that one of my blueberry growers says that he hangs up DVDs, not CDs, but DVDs around his blueberry patch. And actually, I got to his, I went to his place early, well, it was the end of August, and it was early in the morning, and the sun wasn't up yet, and there were birds everywhere. And I was like, you're crazy, you know, that these aren't doing a thing. As soon as the sun came up and was reflecting the light around, all the birds were gone. And now it wasn't a real big patch, and we were there, so I don't know. But it might be worth a try. It's pretty inexpensive to buy just blank DVDs, and he just sort of was hanging them from his bushes, and anyway, it might help. Usually with birds, you need to just keep changing things, and so to just say, okay, I'm hanging up these balloons or hanging up these streamers, it's not as helpful as if you can just keep moving things around, because they quickly get used to whatever it is you put in there, whether it's a cannon or what, you know, it doesn't seem to take too long.
I was shooting bottle rockets at them, and they, I mean, blow them and whistle and everything, and they'd fly out and fly into the next bush. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
They hit them with them.
Yeah, they're, I don't know.
So Heather, with the fly, have you gotten any sense, I know Sonia from UMass, or somebody sent out a survey, you know, how
Okay.
people were affected,
Right.
growers were affected. Because it seems like you're relying on growers, you know, how'd you do?
Certainly.
Oh, okay, but did you really or not? It's like, okay, I have my customers in, they picked the berries, I didn't get any complaints, I'm good. Or are we waiting for this huge blow up of, now it's in the media, now every customer's asking, now everybody's looking in their blueberries, and then it's gonna be or raspberries, and then it's gonna be a really big problem.
Well, I do worry once the public learns about it, that, yeah, I think it could be ugly, because
Have
they're
they been
pretty
keeping
ugly.
it a secret?
No, because, and stories have come out, and, you know, it's just, it's not so visible. You know, you have to be there looking for it, unless you have.
Like one of those
Like,
pictures.
yeah, some of those pictures, yeah. So, but otherwise, like, have you heard about the brown marmorated stink bug? The stink bug
Yeah.
that's just, it's eating up the mid-Atlantic. And the customers are really pretty, they don't mind that so much, because they know about it. The brown marmorated stink bugs are coming into the houses, they're very aware, and so they don't mind so much having damage on their fruit, because they know what a pain in the neck this thing is. But with Spotted Drosophila, they don't see it, and so when they do see it, I'm afraid it could be not very, you know, it could be kind of ugly. And so I'm wondering what's gonna happen when the frozen berries come out. Will something come out at that time? I don't know. I don't know. So I don't think I answered all your
Now,
question.
well, how does
though.
commercial, no, I guess it's just that, you know, a lot of us here might have had a few, like, lost a couple of days or closed, you know, a little early because of birds or what, you know, it wasn't, did anybody but you said you had a,
We lost 3 to 4 weeks.
how did you know? Like, did you see
Well,
maggots,
We
were they
got
just
to-
all
Got to the point
sown?
where we just closed the patch finally. We lost probably 3,000 pints of berries.
So you
And
still
what-
had berries on the bushes?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I ran out of berries
We wished we had.
We ran
out of
usually
berries
would've,
in-
but,
4 weeks early.
yeah,
I had
the-
nothing to
The season
pick.
was early, but we had a massive crop of berries, biggest crop we had in 30
Ooh.
years.
And did you spray or no?
I didn't spray during the season. I sprayed fungicide usually 3 times in the spring. Then I usually spray Imadan, usually in some malathion just before we pick. And I sprayed stopped spraying a little quicker just because the year before we didn't have any rain, and we ended up having spray on the berries and people were complaining, so I stopped spraying. So this year I didn't bother spraying, not knowing I had a bigger problem coming. And so we stopped spraying a little earlier, and we picked the early berries and mid-season berries were very good, no problems whatsoever. And, I mean, we got a clean patch of berries usually, and they're perfect, but, must have been what, 1st of August, Chris? We're higher, we're 1,400 feet elevation, so we're later than normal. But, about the second week or end of first week or second week of August, it started getting really bad. And, our pickers were picking 12 to 20 flats a day, and they were coming in, and it was taking her 5 hours to sort them. And by the time we got done, she complained to me about 3 days in a row. She says, this is ridiculous, we're spending more time picking, sorting bad berries out than we are. And when we shipped them, they sat 24 hours or whatever, they start breaking down, soft berries again. And so we just, at the end of the next week, we finally just put a sign up, closed, and I went back to hay and said, the hell with it. I just I started spraying, I sprayed 6 times. I sprayed malathion twice, and I bought $275 worth of Delegate. I sprayed Delegate, I sprayed malathion every other week, and, you know, the last berries that were still there, which was damn few, ended up being pretty good in the end, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really discouraged. I mean, my son wanted to take over about 50 acres of low bush berries that were, and renovate the whole farm, and, you know, if this is gonna be this way on cultivated, what the hell are you gonna do on 50 acres of low bush? There's no way to control it, as far as I can see.
Right,
I
right.
wondered whether, did you hear anything from Maine at all?
It's attacking the low bush blueberries as well.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm afraid,
It's a-
you know.
yeah. So
We're
it's-
looking at abandoning the